So when we read Wangari's Trees of Peace, we talked about some of the gifts that our planet gives us, and that the trees that she planted were such a great gift, and how they all benefited when they planted more of them. And in this story, this little boy discovers another gift that the earth provides. He discovers the wind and how he can harness the wind to turn it into electricity and to use the electricity to water the fields so they have food. So I want you to begin thinking as we read this book and thinking back over Wangari's Trees of Peace. What are some of the gifts that you appreciate from the earth? Maybe a beautiful sunset, maybe just the trees all around us blowing in the breeze, or maybe it's something else. But just think about all these amazing gifts that come from our planet, this amazing planet that God created for us. Now, this book is also taking place in Africa, in a different country called Malawi. So for bonus, with a parent or an older sibling, go see if you can find Malawi on a map of Africa. Now, the other country was Kenya, so maybe you can even find both of them. In a small village in Malawi where people had no money for lights, nightfall came quickly and hurried poor farmers to bed. But for William, the darkness was best for dreaming. He dreamed of building things and taking them apart, like the trucks with bottle cap wheels parked under his bed, and pieces of radios that he'd crack open and wonder, if I can hear the music, then where's the band? He's got lots of questions, doesn't he? His grandpa's tales of magic also whispered in the pitch black of his room. Witch planes passed through the window while ghost dancers twirled around the room as if 100 men were inside their bodies. At dawn in the fields, William scanned the maze for rows of magical beans, then wondered as a truck rumbled past, how does its engine make it go? Pay attention to where you throw that hoe, his father shouted. You'll cut off your feet. For all its power over dancers and flying things, magic could not bring the rain. Without water, the sun rose angry each morning and scorched the fields, turning the maize into dust. Without food, Malawi began to starve. Soon, William's father gathered the children and said, from now on, we can eat only 1 meal per day. Can you imagine? 1 meal per day? Make it last, he said. In the evenings, they sat around the lantern and ate their handful, watching hungry people pass like spirits along the roads. Money also disappeared with the rain. Papani, his father said, I am sorry, you will have to drop out of school. Now William stood on the road and watched the lucky students pass, alone with the monster in his belly and the lump in his throat. For weeks he sulked under the mango tree until he remembered the library down the road, a gift from the Americans. He found science books filled with brilliant pictures. With his English dictionary close by, William put together how engines moved those big trucks and how radios pulled their music from the sky. But the greatest picture of all was a machine taller than the tallest tree with blades like a fan. A giant pinwheel? Something to catch magic? Slowly, he built the sentence. Windmills can produce electricity and pump water. That's what they need in his village. He closed his eyes and saw a windmill outside his home, pulling electricity from the breeze and bringing light to the dark valley. He saw the machine drawing cool water from the ground, sending it gushing through the thirsty fields, turning the maize tall and green, even when farmers' prayers for rain went unanswered. This windmill was more than a machine. It was a weapon to fight hunger. I will build electric wind, he whispers. Do you think he can do it? It's quite ambitious. In the junkyard, pieces appeared like rusted treasures in the tall grass, a tractor fan, some pipe, and bearings and bolts that required every muscle to remove. Tonga, he'd shout to the birds and spiders, holding up his prize, but as William dragged his metals home, people called out, "That boy is Misala. Only crazy people play with trash." Oh, they're kind of making fun of him. Do you think he stops because they make fun of him? They did that to Wangari too, didn't they? And they didn't stop. And he's not going to stop either. After many weeks, William arranged his pieces in the dirt. A broken bicycle, rusted bottle caps and plastic pipe, even a small generator that powered a headlight on a bike. For 3 days he bolted, banged, and tinkered, while chickens squawked and dogs barked and neighbors shook their heads saying, "What is Misala doing now?" His cousin Geoffrey and best friend Gilbert soon appeared. "Hi," they greeted. "Can we help you with electric wind?" "Grab your pangas and follow me," he said, and took them into the forest. Together, they swung their sharp blades into the trunks of blue gum trees, then hammered them together to make the towers. Well, they're getting close. Standing atop, William shouted, "Bring it up!" while the boys tugged and heaved. A crowd gathered below and gazed at the strange machine that now leaned and wobbled like a clumsy giraffe. Some giggled, others teased, but William waited for the wind. Like it always came. First a breeze, then a gustling gale. The tower swayed and the blades spun around. Look at that, it's working. With sore hands, once slowed by hunger and darkness, William connected wires to a small bulb, which flickered at first, then surged as bright as the sun. "Tonga," he shouted, "I have made electric wind." "Wachitablino," a man yelled. "Well done." As the doubters clapped and cheered, William knew he had just begun. Light could not fill empty bellies, but another windmill could soak the dry ground, creating food where once there was none. Majestia Mephipo, electric wind, can feed my country, William thought. And that was the strongest magic of all. Just like in the other story, he was brave and courageous and persistent, right? And he didn't give up, and it paid off in the end. So in this story, the wind was the earth's gift, right, to the little boy and to his village. And so now I want you to take a piece of paper and draw or write a few words about something that the earth gives you that's really special. And just, especially this week during Earth Day, don't ever forget that we have to take care of our planet too. Our planet that gives us so many gifts, right? It's easy to take for granted. So this is the time that we can really stop and appreciate and remember to do all the things we can to take care of our planet. Like recycle and put the trash in the trash. All those things that we talked about earlier in the year. This is the time to really remember. All right. See you next time.